Hello, I'm William Michael, and I'd like to post a message here, a video message for homeschooling parents to address a common practical problem that I see homeschool parents make, especially new homeschool parents. When we think about the work of education, when we think about homeschooling and household management in general, we often have a vision of what we want our life to be like. We have a vision of this quiet, orderly, simple, efficient homeschool environment. We like things being neat and tidy and simple and affordable and so on. And we've got to understand that that's the goal in the work that we do. That's the goal in household management. That's the goal in education, the goal in homeschooling. But that's not how things get started. And many parents try to commit to efficiency and simplicity and affordability before they've actually established a routine and habit that gets things done. And so to give you some practical advice as an experienced educator and a homeschooling father, what I would recommend that you do, instead of trying to be efficient, instead of trying to be orderly and have your budget really pared down to the bare essentials, you've got to understand that in order to be effective, you've got to start out by just getting all of the necessary tasks done. So if you make a list of 10 things that need to be done each day, don't worry about the schedule. Don't worry about how much time it takes. Don't even worry about how much money it takes. Just begin practicing getting all 10 of those things done. As you get those things done, get into a habit of getting them done routinely. Once you start to establish a routine and you're getting them done regularly, that's when you can start asking, how can I get these done more efficiently? How can I get this done more affordably? How can I get this done more simply? And so on. But you've got to start by getting things done. You can't start with an idea of what it should feel like or what you want it to look like. That's doing things backwards. You've got to start by getting all of the tasks done, even if it takes you all day and all night to get through the lessons with the children. That's fine as you get started. Just make sure you're getting everything done. And then, as I said, you can start paring things down, start tightening things up. I like to use the phrase ratcheting things up, little by little, where you've already got success, you've already got progress, you're getting everything done. So that's good. Now you're trying to move from good to better, and you're going to continue that forever. So focus first on getting everything done in the course of the day. And don't worry about time. Don't worry about scheduling and things like that. Don't worry about what it feels like. Don't get ahead of yourself. Get all the tasks done. And then once you're getting them done regularly, you'll actually have some practical experience to know how you can start making things more efficient. When my wife and I were younger, we used to talk about standard operating procedures, SOPs. And what we would do is we would get things going, things we wanted to do. And then as we started to see how to do them, we'd start thinking about how to do them better. And we would notice that, let's say there's 3 tasks that need to get done or 3 activities that we need to get done. We learned that the transition periods were really more important than the events themselves. Getting the work done was really not a problem. We didn't waste time. We didn't lose time or money doing the actual things, but the time in between the events was very inefficient, very sloppy, lazy. Things weren't done in the right order and so on. So scheduling how we get from this event to that event to this task to that task, those intermediate periods, those transition periods, I call them, that actually is where most of the trouble comes from. It's not the events themselves, it's not the tasks themselves, it's the transition periods. And so by standard operating procedures, what I used to do was just write out the schedule in detail, all of the tasks from beginning to end. And I'm talking when we were, just first married, first having kids. We had no examples to follow, no older, wiser people really to get practical advice from. And so we used to just map out the day, write out the hour by hour plans throughout the day. And then we would just continually work on making those SOPs more and more efficient, moving things around as we got more experience until we started to get into a routine that was both effective and efficient, and then continuing to work to make it more and more efficient over time. But don't get stressed out in the beginning with pressure to try to be efficient. You're not going to save money in the beginning. Things are not going to be cheap in the beginning. You may lose quite a bit of money in the beginning, make bad decisions, make bad purchases. That's just part of the development process. The time for saving money, the time for saving time, the time for being efficient comes after you've figured out how to get things done. And I'd like to give you an example from business. Let's just think about any product that you've purchased through the years. What happens is when a new product comes out, I remember when I was a kid and the VCR first came out, they were these huge clunky machines. Think about televisions. If you were alive during the 1980s, televisions were huge pieces of furniture. Think about the size and the inefficiency and the cost of things. It was very expensive. They were big and clunky and ugly, but we bought them because they worked. The companies that made them figured out how to accomplish the goal that they set out to accomplish. They figured out how to do it. And they did it in a machine or even in a piece of furniture like a television. They did it in a way where they really weren't concerned about efficiency. They just wanted to get it done. They wanted to achieve the goal. And then look at what's happened over time. We still have video playing machines. We still have videos. We still have televisions. But what's different about them? They're smaller, they're lighter, they're more affordable. What we see is over time, after the goal is accomplished, over time, we can reflect on the products that we've made. We can reflect on the things we do, and we can say, does it really need to be 2 feet deep, this television? Can't we make it flatter? Does it really need to weigh 50 pounds? Can't we make it out of lighter materials? Does it really need to do this? Does it really need to be like this? Do we really need to make it out of metal? Can't we make it out of plastic? You can see how the thinking goes, and over time, the products become more and more efficient so that you can go and buy a television for $100 that 30 years ago would have cost several $100s. Things get more efficient over time. We can cut the fat out of the things we do when we get experience and we're successfully achieving the goals that we set out to achieve. Focus on achieving the goals. Don't worry about losing money. Don't worry about losing time or wasting time. Just focus on accomplishing the tasks that need to get done, and over time, you can get more and more efficient. If you try to be efficient from the beginning, if you try to look cool from the beginning and look like you've got everything together and everything is neat and tidy, you're going to end up being restricted by your disordered concern for having everything neat and tidy instead of effective. First, be effective, then become efficient. I hope that's helpful. God bless.